ya wo ansa na unimu no ahokeka no ya ben weekend ni to wa hwe se na tie na ko wa ka tam president mu ebre na so ye from Lydia Ameyaw Marego TV so na ye wo ye ka wo say sia na ye wo multi TV platform ni so inti no fro nua na fro nua na fro nua no so fro bi mbo na amane se benya se afran prince fo nyina ehwe Tetteh fo ehwe ye ai mame krobofo nyina ehwe ye forifori fo obi bia amankwa ate ase na ya me yesho se mabona nyina
no
ana me sati freche emesen fanko eja me ya okra forifori te ase na me ko wi wa amankwa ensio ano aha eja baako nke ho de ni pa kai bedu ho no ma ase okra refi ani de nyina afran place fo nyina ehwe ye ti ja te ase so ate ase amankwa afo bi a ehwe ye sa na obaga na mafa nyina obi aso ehwe ye tonfo na ehwe volofo so sise ye nya ate se omo enya Marego TV o ti fro nua na fro nua me say yaba multi TV platform this so still you digital na so there crystal television so no multi TV ni dey say dey agi nkezi agi baby a anopa ni ma asasa me Lydia Ameyaw meti he dey me ni me nua na ya akrant ma be ka me ho na me mo di din so I started because a dim akubi oho no be say your boy your friend no Mario HZ Philip ba ko ne ye den
na pesa usiwo
say ala me touch ma no intime ndane
me born sana Moses na ni agi rough
ne na bona Moses ni je yeah di ko wakra tan pense mo ebre ye ka ho say glorious natural mineral water na abo ye ho ba na aso ya sere na ye di jumedi bro ye be sha say fi de ko wakra tan Sami Jemfi challenges Bawumia on forest gold strategy. Primpong confirms Judge Wilson Kenson as executive secretary. Judge Otibunsu honored with PhD Global Award. Ghana launches Cocoa Farmers Alliance Africa. SIC agents hail James Ejenim Boateng. Nayababe the Daily Graphic. Governor explains economic gains. Supreme Court throws out another injunction. GIS repatriates 925 people. Arrest put on hold for lack of space. Drivers, commuters react to 15% fare reduction. When you need to pay your taxes, levies, and all statutory obligation on Ghana government. The Chronicle. Justice Sokono sues AG, Pwamai, and others. Iyoko Group CEO awarded honorary doctorate degree. Lands Minister asks Lands Commission to decentralize operations within 2 months. Agrada laughs over Empress Gifty's 200 billion lawsuits. The Daily Guide. Minister directs Lands Commission to decentralize operations. Mahama Car gives undermine ethics code. Transparency International. CJ Tokono sues government over suspension. Wants 2 judges restrained. Cozy visits Adentan flood victims. University Senior Staff Association declare indefinite strike. We neguko wakratam ne be na ya bobo ho na wonso se amanfo wo mamuno wahwe ne yo mo na wafana odi bi abo ho ban. Ye be sha se fi the Daily Guide na first one be fa Mama Car gives undermine ethics transparency international for ne kasa se enka was say car chedi a yen mampenyi John Dramani Mahama ji ye was say anka oji if you say nimra o share no ebumra so me sha se e free adantem Mario Eson.
Let me say a very good morning to our viewers wherever they are. We say we officially welcome them to the newspaper review segment this morning. But maybe so Can't say a gift to Ananaya. Say a gift. So we want to tell us over. And I could have called not to counsel. We want to tell Mendiana.
Now, Mario, when you Mampeni by any code of conduct now or luncheon, baby, actually say, what bam on answer the appointees. When to me receive gifts more than 20,000 in few be out.
Okay.
Yeah, and another say, but the idea back so yeah, me depan say nana gift no G and was the gift na my state no. So mo find juma. One fan ko guni fia o use. But I think say you see a shame na ya kan kwe there. Mampeni webu or no ankasa ni code of conduct no webu so.
But someone also say these are gifts where maybe someone has given the president a gift. And anipana can oji can nyina no wa fa can anfa nya ni personal usage. Yes, so say you see say person you come na yenhwemu a you see we are the law and the law is us. For instance, it's a gift on someone has given the president two cars.
Yeah, 2 cars.
For his personal gain. And the president say okay, a car would you actually those 2 cars, yes, yeah, it is true. The amount of money involved, it's more than 20,000. But say share. It's a gift. And you say, "Oh sorry, say me pe come for come and baby." Someone who brought the car. Despite that,
yes,
but you see, we have people who ask for gifts. For instance, they do birthday. Gift is a gift. And to me, for instance, there are other sectors we are lacking things there. There are other sectors that are lacking things. If someone from, let's say, a foreign business partner or a foreign aid that want to invest into agriculture, he needs to see the president as the president. Okay, I want to give you this amount of tractors for maybe operational use in the agricultural sector. Because the president's code of conduct say we should ENG give more than 20,000, and those equipment in Indiana. I want to get a free idea of what we are talking about.
Nipan is the president, but they boa agricultural sector. So it is agricultural sector.
So that one is not a gift.
It's a gift, but it's a sector, but not personal.
Yeah.
Baby, you can't say Transparency International for can say a personal gift. The my president. It mean fine. E ho na no mo kire se wabu emra ne so e wo because the man so no achede na emum no ogeye no kwamfa ama ne ho wasande ama o man ne se ye nyusu enti no na nka ne ebia na Transparency International expect say the president should have done say
orange tiana
the tie dia me ba be ka no
asema na mo kan
wo yes wo chema de ade de me da sa wo de cheme na momi de mi hia iti fa ko ahase
we sector we
na fa koma
no mo
fanye adwuma sa na ebia mema dwen mu na me se no ya afo ni ti ana sa na ya dwen mu na e kire se nka president enka ye nka se ade pa befia ye yi ne maye pam no da bi obagina so me da ase nyame nhiraw pa dwen me ho me John Dramani Mahama na nso mi hia ka yi samre Nemo no so call ohwe nsentremfo adwuma yi a Marego TV 4 no obehia sa cast no e de amom producer enti ne fa ko ho no mo no na fa kom ya nye no
no
I think that particular code of conduct we need to look at it again.
Yes
because
any na president and na we santana say na ahwemu biom na me no mienu de ye ni say to me no say we have to look at it again. Because when I'm having to say, the code of conduct, I also be taught document and Chanam about 20 Ghana the amount. I'm
going to take an day.
Hey!
Oh, I don't say Yamishi.
And you
I don't go do me. I don't go do me anything. And I am a she. You're going to say 30 cities, na trophy on one side.
And then we see, or no send the summer one side, never one side.
I didn't know my son dream one country, and who say, Nippon or the other Mampenny. When him some Mampenny code of conduct, and we must have 1 year, Cheddy, I broke 20,000. I say, I small rat. If you are on the parish, that's all. Some
and I'm a son, and I'm a fool, and I saw no so the fool. But in the nation, no, or my penny, yeah, does say, what they are then a summer or minor, so minor, and you know, or your communicator. Mampeni or your communicator, why your communications, but you know, or say, you man, see, you know, we play very fast, name on no sana. Scare cano, yes, you need me, but when a batten beer, your best mamma watch a dear. Mumbisa Mampenny said, when I made a bro, sector bang, they have found one a mom pass some and found more Mampenny. Yes, Remoire.
Philip, I don't think anybody wants to put the president to any.
And then I transfer the national, I can say, they
have the right to say whatever they want to do.
And also they fines in the man and fan. Mumbisa Mampenny, me bro tractor. Okay, tractor and Fakoma Lower Mania Municipal. They have found Cobopa, Agaja Jete, Bobocrudi Name.
Are you Mesupati?
Sutrawa, Mamma found by your family. Ewo, a honomo. Minister directs Lands Commission to decentralize operations. Insuno Asha say to talk. Or how no so Apijanimu. And Ryan acquiring any deputy director for the meteorological agency in the person of JT Portfy. Edin Como or say, hey, Yenya Hunshe, and a few crown is you know, Ebeba. And a decentralization, so say also. Philip.
In Sunday, Ebeba.
Oh, yeah, then.
A year down, Sunday, I bed and Ebeba. But, on say, this few times in Soto Accra, we see how the place has been flooded. I sat here the last time I said, human nature so count.
Yeah.
And the communal labor spirit previously is no more there like the way we are seeing it. You can see someone neatly dressed, you know, who did he wear? Fashion with handbag mo. And now who did he wear? Find a nice place and go and dump it. But you see people picking all kinds of rubbish from their various homes, no, into the gutters.
Wait, I say, I feel the bag. Who name no coffee? I feel the bag now. What the ball and go? I feel the bag.
So all the same, no.
And the name machine.
We are here to call long distance, no.
Yeah.
Who did he wear? Find it in a nice way and put it inside the car. The driver and the mate, when they go to their destination, let's also look at the road, the municipal assemblies, and the metropolis also playing this land issue we are talking about. When you want to build, go to the assembly. They should give you permit. You should come for inspection. Let's be sure what are they say find its own path. And so dear, it will find a way. But if we are able to look at the settlement we have and we'll build in on that settlement, Minjidi said so to my problems. Ukok bomb say to ahunjo say. And so to bomb say na yema ahunjo is the first place to like it will affect. I don't know why. Because they are even at the downside. So I was expecting saying so no a talk na I should just flow straight. But the drainage system there is very poor. Until one more down hono. They are the beneficiaries of the flood. And the Basra government is going to spend money for NADMO relief. They have to go for mattresses, food, and stuff like that. So I believe what the minister is saying, we should look at it and implement it well.
Okay, so you can ensure once a month, cozy visits identify flood victims. Now we ensure to identify no yes free nipa miensa.
Can you imagine? Yeah, maybe so. Ebanesena city no, capital city Accra, Ghana. In so to the beer. And we've been speaking about this thing for so many years. We how many years now? 72, I guess, or 65 or something.
67.
And the drainage system in Accra.
Woo! And you know, the former parliamentary candidate for the New Patriotic Party, Akusuya Esa Menu, but dear time cozy. Ekwa momo ama wakwache omo ade wo hose na wo ka no akoye say wo hu say aha eye waterway wonim very well say waterway na ya aba so ba beto instead so be ka na ya say waterway no
So better.
also beto na ya egita dollars
so better. Oh, say you see when people want to buy some things,
Philip,
they don't look at the disadvantage and advantage. Yes, you just want to buy the thing. Oh.
Esa na ya egita big sum of money, huge sum of money into no. We was say what man. Maybe go catch na ya asa na ya baby I go to asasa na ya water we ya. Na ma beda na ya na time for. Once be who say the small money you want take, you know. Me I want come put Gary for your sansan for your Gary inside. Nana ya to they say they pay me say me a day single room self-contained inside where they can build story building. Not to say akoya asem ho no. Enti ni nyina no you go back to the assembly, especially the town planners. No mo hwe omo permit na de be man because obi over it me sure stop work by 10 times.
And also you see and also no I have problem with the assembly.
Me see it me sure stop work by 10 times. Nzo be we ni appointed dan na ni panity. And also,
send the panel wa fight chiri. Akoye the SSA way.
Ebi our late 7 blocks. This is stop work, produce permits. The next hour we no. Now we do lentil. Stop work, produce permits. Ebi we say no. Now we bob Moses mami word no. Ne bobo no. Ansanya burglar na say den.
Abo
say if you have ufi ase no. Window level no. No about lentil. Lentil no about den. We will be wo ansana gable abo gable e wo ho no mo till ani asan be stop work ube hu ana we flow stop work ube hu ahụ stop work na ya painting dan no na ya share bogra proof na ya fix air condition na stop work no ayra
da so da ho
ayra
I think say oman mu ha no ye wo mmra nanso aka kwan a ye be fa so a ye be hye se mmra no
e be ye adwuma
mmra ne de wo ho pa nso ye mpanyifo na sese o mutimi hwe na ye adwuma no wo mo nso fa koti kwan so age envelope kakra na o magyae na se obi starting the project na o be trust stop work na next time mo san ba na wo hu se wasan to aso a eno che se wanfa ne die amamra enti ye se mra ne di ida se mo be siw no ana se dan no mo right se mo be bubu agu ho because mo adwuma no nanso ye nyina ya hwe han e na edi yenya
into the first envelope no another stop work is another envelope
enti ya ko se nipa no be pejada dan na si wa wie de wasi abrosan the original si abrosan
Philip catch them say Mario say me say wo ba beto asase na wo beto no onye den ana to na wo ba beto you go money put for in packets inside. CJ talk on use government over suspension once 2 judges restrained. CJ as we are now court no.
But you see, we should. I sat here and said the last time that appointment be wawa, government should interfere.
Yeah.
Let's look for private bodies to do that.
To do the work.
One, Ghana Police Service, health, finance, education.
The security services.
The other you see, those appointments, the government. For instance, the president have the right to fire at anybody at some point in time.
Electoral commissioner.
Electoral commissioner.
And
maybe say next government ever and as a government before those appointed to Supreme Court no. Will the next president also say I can't work with this person? You see, there are cases in some law courts that are still pending because they are swinging of changes of judges.
Parties.
Yes. And see, it's about time you share these structures. Now I can say, okay, IGP, irrespective of the government that comes, maybe the health minister, yes, especially it's about security and this Supreme Court thing. But I can't work with this person. way back, I come with this person, near Asisanum, and the case are still pending. You see, that's what I was saying. The money that they will use to buy for us to have a stable light, because of this CJ issue thing, it will take some time. You see, so until those structures are put in place, we'll still be having these issues.
Okay.
Nana, yeah. Talk on suspension. Met me aka say me mampeni nyadwe. Because me fan say sector bi and as a department bi nko yie wo ho a. Na wo pese wo yen hwehwemu a. I think the person should be in office whilst I obey yen hwehwemu no. And say suspending the way was suspending ya wo yen hwehwemu. Na say at the end of the day no. Bibia betimi asi. Ebi ana suspension.
And so me ne wo nyadwe.
One me nyadwe.
Because
she should be in office whilst I be
you have to step aside.
You have to step aside for you to be investigated.
Yes, you have to step aside. You can't be in power they still investigate you. Because you have all the people around you, so you know what to tell them at what point in time. So you just step aside.
For you to be investigated.
Yes. And see, I was even using this example like Sami Jemfi issue that pop up recent times.
Sami Agrada.
Fine. But yes, Sami Jemfi.
Honorable Faka
in a serious jurisdiction or a serious country like Ghana, Sami Jemfi need to step aside.
Yes.
It's true that he's working, he has made his money for a very long time. But there are some sensitive positions in Mawa.
Yes.
So like a normal circumstance, you have to step aside.
And Kasamri Muna, this our code of conduct hereby no. Okoma sika more than that were born.
Yes.
He was supposed
just
to step aside.
But I also believe that yes, no, I say just step aside. That's all. But all the same, President John Obama in his own wisdom know there's always a first time. Maybe Saskana Sami Jefedima Mamiwe Agradai. Maybe any personal money. But why are you giving somebody's money in dollars? Why won't you do it in cities?
Ebi no nam no dollars na
and see honorable Sami Jeffe next time no next time no we dey mefrel and am send you momo call baby. You don't be there trying to please people. These people will still put you in trouble, and they are the same people who will tell you that this good boy yedi ma okra want to be anyeshwe.
We dey hu na prodigal son.
Until next time no.
Ahonoba.
Na wan koye boy.
Until maybe say as for Sami Jeffe there is a nice man.
And America say akonoba. Obia wana kuma swade into ne ba no nti we die sebita fracture penifo ne kan
oba ni gu
oba kwaja na gu stress wa uncha ope pan wa sense oba no ho kama na wode no asan
na say na
I say come in this one no
yes na amount for kaze e carry enche na adru so sana na your friend is Cecilia da pa de ba ye champagne a me amini okuma Sami Jeffe so ene me twema no so as a twapia no enti na ma na Ghana fo so eni abre ne so say wo say eno no say ya kan say no
e ka we ne so no
University Senior Staff Association declare indefinite strike. Ghana so yapon
we share Sanyamana. The system have not been fair to teachers. Yes, the system has not been fair to teachers.
Who taught the president to become
a teacher?
A president?
We can all boast, but it's the teachers that taught us all.
Oh, yeah.
But we share teacher ni nabrabo compared to, let's say, a nurse, or compared to, let's say, an engineer. And all those engineers and all those architectural, the journalists, the doctors, the president, whoever you can think of, pass through the classroom. But we don't prioritize teachers that much. To me, I'm saying it on authority. It has been the fact for a very long time. We don't teacher ni salary a sign, na grat a sign, not a sign. And these are lectures of a university. Almost your modi omunema nyina to form say ya umbetre ya pa. And see, maybe the government should dialogue with them, meet them halfway, and
They
give
should
them
go
their,
back to
yes,
the
go back to the table, give them what they need. Government should prioritize teachers, not only the university lecturers, from KG. Even some of the classroom, some of the classroom, we will be like, no. And when you ask students or people of school that what do you want to become, you barely see someone mentioning I want to become a teacher. They say, a doctor, a nurse, and stuff like that. One. And if you go to some of the municipalities and some of the districts, share teacher, baby a teacher need that a son or there. And so
baby a teacher need that.
Yes.
What sorry no crown baby are all free and son of
that's why I want to use this platform to say Honorable Okujeto Abrakwa. When you go to his constituency, which fall within Bato, Volo, Mepe, Juapon, and Aveima and its environs, they are teachers that anytime they post them to his constituency,
he gives them something.
Laptops.
Recently,
laptops.
Recently, laptops.
Wow.
He does it
recently,
every time.
Laptops.
You see,
from his own packet.
Yes, his own packet.
Because most teachers don't want to go to those rural areas.
To teach.
So when you come there, he tries to motivate.
So if the amenities are there, you see, some of the villages are into farming. So to tell you that even days that it fall on their market days, see students at school. They are all going to the market to go and sell. But if the amenities are there, yes, if the amenities are there,
oh yes,
go to Germany and go and see. Go to Akashi and go and see. It is there. You see, so let's try to just give the needed things the teachers need to make education very, 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 very easy for them. Those days, people are still, some constituencies and some municipalities are still using the blackboard. Now other people are using marker. And those same people in Atasawa are competing with someone in Silago with the same syllabus. You see, so until we are able to prioritize teachers, lecturers, and stuff like that, if Ghana Police Service want to go on strike today, as I see.
Honorable Simon Kweku Tetteh, the former MC. MC also started visa for teachers. My minimum fridges and fridges and televisions. And also a visa or chassis. Ewahana Kebebwa lower man. Young Papa MC Honorable John Mate, please step in and then start doing it. Or say, making sure say I just like what he said. Eke ma luaka. Ibesi back in your report and mabihio. Henning, Mahane, maintain on Elijon, no, into the chassis and who Juma Papa Naibi. Apart from teachers, nurses in the rural areas, a problem. Recently, me Kai camera personnel, I mean, no, Moses, Moses. Near call Tekpelu area, Mohonomo. Teachers nini baby or next baby or maybe it be more quarters, but quarters in the be one so no some people no say a juregu form because na adane death trap at the moment or some current one so ewa and na omunya amenities obu oho a wanyeme was said in the call a bigger clinic and a health center no just say abobo ya they did not na abobo ya ni mo to say no be onyem na aside na to mo. And the sign for no, a best are buying Nibeko or one, the teachers taught us. And then the nurses and the doctors saves our lives. Because Omunu Hono Mona Bibi, or when I want to say, Pesemi DMP, Pesemi DMC, Pesemi EC, into yesterday, Nayan Shomosway, Yen try any and found call a honomo. You better find the chronicle, just a stock on your account was same. Echo Group CEO awarded honorary doctorate degree. Congratulations to him. Lance Minister Yakan Wasemnemu. Agra that laughs over Empress Gifty's 200 billion lawsuit. Nanaya.
Anna, 200 billion.
Sikagari wasemna yakan.
Sikagari na sa agra na ya sikagari incident but jai so mama pass.
I think so Obenya kwa wana broso. Nana the akofa agrada the Empress nsami nyina ba nyina ye sami ye sami dollar ye sami gold board sami dollar sami
Sammy agrada. Sammy mami feel well. Sammy found a fanny na mami. I don't know what the mami and I then.
Ana ni nyina ne se empress ekunu nso e de nanu betu asemi kakra. Wa wunnim ya mami agrada deda. E ne on de otene ba bi na wunnim na wo de wo ho be wo so de a. E ne anu a na wo be nu ho se wo de wo ho be wo so. Na ana recently videos bi ni pictures bi go viral. Nyina ne se agrada e betwa alive. Ah wo to be amane empress pa sister na anu ode.
O sha empress close away.
Hopeless
braha.
Hopeless braha.
Can you imagine?
Bema sabi Jimmy for. Bema woni munyansa.
Can you imagine?
Bema sabi.
Bisa wo say agara ye ka sa kire papa esiama ebe ye wo de.
Ebe ye ne dana. Just say odo mu me enugu ho from na at the end of the day no osa the video bi ba abonten. Say Empress efa nikunu echi obo video ni kra kakra bi na wo video ni mu a na omo wo dem it was just me dey make say harmless hug omo hug yobo ho and wo video ni mu nso a na sami nso wo ho sami ba ko a woto nyum owo nation worshiper a wo kumase na ono nso wo mu enti na me bisa say sami wo dem ho bi no
omo ye den
na no omo ye den na ye pon.
So uncle Cotton now, Uncle Yan. Uncle Cotton, Uncle Yan.
Nana, I think set Chrome Hano. I said, Obia to me so camera see me so. Now what kick card your pet, now I head your pet. Now say, yes, taxi say ye see you amount for. I think say social media, ye be who send ye be you soon. Because Brony or the social media buy no, and your way move binting or the buy, or the buy so about born in near my woodaro. They are what creative be and I said they are produce piano. Or better than the actual amount for. Normally, I think say is it China? I'm sure say China. Omu pages bi wo ho no mokwa o kire se na ya akonya o kire se na ya di toothpick ya we o kire se na ya di wasum ya we se na ya be modi bibi se na ya be ya we wo people are really taking advantage of this social media thing now so as a Ghana for there yeah beef they say we call drama kura beef for shorty yeah social media
enye beef na ya chicken
me say
and as a man say
you see it's about time like it is good that we are trying some of these things we are testing the Lord to see but you see it will take us some time for people to understand how the social media works like. You understand? So until we are able to, like Nanaya is saying, getting all those things, making sure that maybe you have a product you want to sell. Somebody in Kumasi or somebody in Taka don't know the work I'm doing at Bom. So it gives that person the edge or the medium to know that, okay, when you come to Bom, you are looking for smoked fish. If you go to Mario's wife's place, you get nice fish to buy.
Marketing, 10,000. It's good. The marketer is here. Marketing.
People also want to show on social media that you know they have the best of phones, they have the best of dressing. And stuff like Adame you ask na okay.
One Adame on data.
On data.
And our wife on fish.
On fish pa.
I tell you we are go home marketing. Okay. Quickly daily graphic say governor explains economic gains and interest can about 4 million okay cannot. The governor so I then wa explaining sena kokofone has say GIS repatriates 925 people. Arrests put on hold for lack of space. I want
to talk about the drivers.
Gains.
No, about the drivers.
The drivers
we have 15% reduction of.
Yeah, fine. Can I say the baby? Okay. Fair no name
sorry. But won't say price is number. But we are yet to see those in the history. Only price number January, but Mr. President won't say from Akuse Johnson, Eddie Cockman, so taxi AG 7 cities. 7 cities. Taxi AG 7 cities. Trotro AG 6 cities. And the about 5 and 6 and now 4 and 5. Gibraltar, yeah. But I believe the resilience of the economy is what we are all looking for.
Yeah.
Food of price of commodities and stuff like that need to come down. So I believe the government is actually doing some work. But you see, the issue about this dollar and the cedi thing, previous government is saying they also
challenges Ameyaw on forex and gold strategy. Previous government say according to almost say governor Biden as say go no madwen is on be power enti omo wie no a na ko be power no mo de aba e na fe so de omo ntimi we power e na we no but da be na we no baaye e na policy be no mo de aba e na no chese omo no mama gains no akoda wa e ye omo de ana e fan sorry so
maybe say as I now say government have not gone into any budget yet. I think we are still living on the previous government's budget. Until I believe the previous government has played a role, but the current government is building on.
So I say budget beyond so Mario we know now we are finance minister very reading the first budget. Okay. Allocated sikama various sectors, assembly members in your omode. Omo kwa na esibo so me on beje say.
But say agent obi akai.
Eh say agent obi akai.
Agent obi akai.
The budget ni dey yakan.
Yakan but opasre say. Opasre say.
There was there was transition. So I believe there are some reserve amount of money the previous government left for the current government to operate with.
Reserve amount of money.
Oh yes, there's money.
There's money.
Oh
yes, money because even gold reserve credit was about
1 point something tons. I think I have
31 tons.
Yes, 31 tons.
31 tons.
But
I think it did not go well with all the sectors.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, time is so awesome.
And I think sir lorry friends some way. I drive for me na omani nye ho. Omo nji ntom. Na so baby a directive ni free aba no.
You know get more.
As a we need option. And I bebre na so issue ni nyina gina spare parts so. Say ya for so all right, but spare parts na me koto de aye me ka ho no. Ye nte so, intimi so. Na so yen ya ye fa car ne de na atadwen areate de no aban so di aba na nkrata aba wo ho charges no I think enura na enura me hu the previous charge a omo charge any DSS
any long distance
any DSS omo charge ni na ye di aba no omo ni option bia nti se ne be ya oman ni be ye yie no yesere omo ndi so maye na ye ntimi koye nim na e bia enche bia no dollar no eso besate ama ye ti di besanya na ho
Medase.
So we see a beer and $1
1 CD. Yeah, to a CD $1 1 CD.
Of course.
A bit to me, 2023 June dollar about 10 cities.
Yeah.
Into the about 10 cities. A bit to me as
I should say by the time we are out of by the close of the year, dollar should be like 2 cities or something.
Of course.
Yes, answer na sorry if you have no more say on behalf of Marego TV, we say Honorable Godwin Oblanda Totroknu na eta no your program ewa hanu say or your communication officer demand the National Democratic Congress sanso na oye assembly member na osanye youth organizer for Lower Manyaklo constituency. Mino Kasai dear, say dear or no, and I appointed as the director for YEA Lower Manyaklo municipal. On that note, the Marego TV says, congratulations, Edema Waboy Juma. Ubia Yabona Basubia Chese no cre Waboy Juma. Oko for MCE ship. When Nyami baby so it is well. Congratulations once again. I will say yes.
We are assemblyman.
We are assembly member. One.
We are youth organizer.
Number 2.
Who say why
number 3. Say they be eba no. Ebi I say na aba no. Obe trabiso. Na obi so aba abehye ho. Sa na mini because na no panyi bi am ne ka so assembly member. But chemi obi opese obehye ne mpaboa. Into no. Ye wie mo last person fan sorry so. If you say me no ka say the baby edu ne enche bia the Eastern Regional Director for the National Service Authority will join me soon and as soon on the political arena. And then next, Mumfa last phase, sorry.
I just want to use this platform to let people understand that development is key, irrespective of your position. The president has given you that position for development. So anyhow, just make sure that you do your work and do it well.
Thank you very much, Nanaya.
Nana, finally, no, media bekwama abayno. Because Ghana for yinya GD ewo mumu, inti na yedi omu baye. Ena omu sanso share Ghana for bo. So omu betu kitase share any proyas. Inti omu baye no, omu bibia enye nhweso ade. Na the inti a yetu abama omu no. Na at the end of the day no, endru sa 4 years ni bedu no. Na Ghana for obi enya ne chefa wo. Se ne be ya ye nu ye ho se yetu aba.
Yo, madam asibebre samba kame ho. Nanaya Krantma in Portuguese, Bruni, Sansona Mario H.Z. Philip, aka as a dank when I watch a force, so as a dank come out, say only a year, Yeka will say, you know, Marego TV or multi TV platform, so into searching, I just re-scan your television. Ubenyaye ewo honomo sanso na ye 6 o'clock news evening news aye English and abroad no ya twen e dey about 6 p.m. Inti ma ori fi say 6:30 b.m. 6 p.m. Ken na edaso na wetimi eti ye brofo kama ewa emra se me sorry so na me twa me ho apesika na dwumedi foforo aba betwa so me dey Lydia Ameyaw me da se wo hwe me.
Are you thirsty and in need of well-purified water to quench your thirst? I recommend Glorious Natural Mineral Water. Produced through reverse osmosis to the highest quality, this highly purified water is perfect for any occasion, being it wedding ceremonies, parties, funerals, engagements, and many more. Contact Glorious Natural Mineral Water on 0548 493522 or 0503 130395. We produce in bulk quantities, so just let us know how much you need. We are located at Pong Ahunjo off the Temakosobo Highway and Dakuman, Nyamiche, Abeche Street.
Baby so good to da bontin so ya jidi sa woni ya badendin Yesu frawa beje enso adom no manu nri enso Ejuma ye body nanso papa woni ye ni da Masaya no pay me pa bwa me bone se adumu re me ha ni se Chema nunso bia so Every ghetto you did this ye Yamojuma din that ye bedi ye Kwaju for the one di Ensenye jumano any di Hard work pays Them say no pay no gain I can't every tete Ye beya wada she mama Eninti eja I no pay Masora no pay Min pabwa mi bani se Adumu re mi hao ni se Chema nunsu obiaso Masaya no pay Me pabwa me bani se Adumure me hani se Chema nunsu obiaso Eja Chema nunsu obiaso eja Chema nunsu madofu su eja Chema nunsu matamfusu na munja me hunsem kika Eje You are my light and salvation Jaja accept my meditation Fireborn temptation Yeah, yeah Masora no pay Mi pabwa mi bani se Adumure mi hao ni se Chema nunsu obiaso Masora no pay Mi pabwa mi bani se Adumure mi hao ni se Chema nunsu obiaso Get to you press.
welcome to the political arena segment on the Marego Morning Dew. The National Service Scheme. The National Service Scheme is a mandatory one-year program for Ghanaian citizens who have completed accredited tertiary education. The scheme aims to promote national unity, develop skilled manpower, and provide essential services to rural areas. Encourage national service among Ghanaians, undertake projects to combat hunger, illiteracy, disease, and unemployment, provide essential services and amenities to rural areas, develop skilled manpower through practical training, promote national unity, and strengthen citizenship bonds in Ghana. In the studio with me this morning is the Eastern Regional Director for the National Service Authority, in the person of Nats Gwama Tetteh. Honorable Nats Gwama Tetteh, the Acting Director for the National Service Authority Eastern Region, management and staff of Marego TV, wish to welcome you warmly to Marego TV premises, and we say congratulations.
Thank you all so much.
Before then, let me give a little background about Nat. G Tetteh. The G is Gwama. Osudukunobi. So the G is Gwama. Nat Tetteh is a leader with years of strategic advocacy in the areas of youth development activism, youth political inclusion, and transformational leadership. He possesses rich corporate experience in the areas of project management and consultancy, as well as business development. He is currently the Acting Regional Director of the National Service Authority, Eastern Region. He is also an NDC Deputy Regional Youth Organizer for the Eastern Region. So if you don't know Nat, this is who Honorable Nat G. Tetteh is. Once again, we say mohe to Marego TV.
Thank you so much.
How have you been?
I guess God has been good. We've been trying to settle into the new role entrusted into my hands by His Excellency the President. And I'd like to take the opportunity once again to say a big thank you to President Mahama for giving young people like myself the opportunity to also contribute our quota to his government. If you look at the trend of appointments, you see that this government has the most youthful set of appointees, and that also places a very big task on us to succeed, because then if we are able to succeed and deliver on the task handed us by the president, then it encourages him to give the opportunity to other people behind us. But if we fail to deliver in our mandate, then it means that we are blocking out the chance for a lot of people. And I think that as far as Eastern Region is also concerned, you would realize that the president has been fair. We've gotten our fair share. So we just want to say thank you to him and to assure him that we'll put in our best.
Thank you very much, and welcome once again. But let me start with the simple question. The Mario continues. How do I register for the NSS?
Right. As you would know, national service has been in existence for well over 50 years, 1973, under the military decree. We've gone through several transformations over the years. Currently, we operate under Act 480. Now, the process for registering to become a national service person is through the school you attended. The national service program is actually available for Ghanaian students who have gone through the tertiary education system. So that would mean that if you undertake a program which is not a tertiary program, then you would not qualify to do service, either tertiary or what they call GTech, which is a form of a diploma where we look at people who have done 4 semesters. But not all diplomas qualify anyway. Generally, it's for programs that are termed as tertiary programs. And that is why you will realize that before, teacher trainees were not doing service some time past because they were running a diploma program until the training colleges were upgraded to colleges of education. To make them fully tertiary programs. And so now you would realize that when teachers pass out of colleges of education, we enroll them for the mandatory 1-year service to give them practical hands-on experience to be able to go out and also impact the world.
To impact the world, how are service personnel posted to institutions? Can I request a specific posting location?
Unfortunately, we try to operate as an equal opportunities organization. And so, as much as possible, we try to discourage special postings, as we may term it. However, because we are all humans and things happen, if you have a genuine case, maybe a terminal illness or something, and you would need maybe family to be around you, provide you with care, or a pregnant woman in her approaching the end of her term, or even if pregnant in general, or lactating mothers. For these categories of people, sometimes we make a concession, but they have to come through the appropriate channel. Postings are, however, not done at the region or the district levels. Posting is only done at head office. And so, generally, unless we have a specific request, which the potential service person is not entitled to, you make a request, and then we would consider. Maybe I'm a pregnant woman, and my pregnancy is delicate, so I need to be around family so that I can get help. We would consider all those things, and then look at placing you somewhere that is maybe closer to home, so that you can give your best to your country and also be able to take care of yourself. But generally, it's at random, because the idea is that every part of Ghana contributes to the development of the country. I completed University of Ghana for my first degree, and I was posted at random to the Brown Afro region. And that is where
town?
I lived in Brekum and then Sunyani. Yes. So, but I was specifically posted to Brekum. That is where I had my service, you know. And it would interest you to know that I made some of my friends who have become very important in my life today while I was doing my service, because most of us were coming from Kumasi, Accra, the north, and all that. We didn't have families, and so we had to connect among ourselves and help each other out. And some of those friendships, like I said, have lasted years. And so sometimes we encourage people to get out of their comfort zone. You've been in Somanya or Akuse or Accra or where you were born, wherever, for so long, exactly, for so long, Australia, yes, you know. Step out into the world, engage other people, you know, make new friends and make new connections. You never know. A lot of people, in fact, a lot of people on record have even found their marital partners while they went to do their national service. So sometimes we encourage people to also try. We know it's difficult, having to go and rent somewhere, moving to a place where you don't have family, you don't have friends, you don't know anybody. But these days, there's technology, there's phones. You miss your mother, you can call. So we encourage people to explore and make new friends.
I asked because we've heard that even in the national service, we have protocols that party approaches put their awards at big places like BOST, GNPC, NPA, and other. That's why I asked how truth is the so.
Right. So you would realize that when I started, I mentioned that the National Service Authority, in fact, we used to be National Service Scheme.
Yeah.
until 2 years ago when the act was passed, and then we became an authority. We've gone through several transformations over the years. Rightfully, like you asked, people are always trying to find favor. Just by my sitting here, I have friends, I have family, I have contacts, I have people who are not my friends directly, friends of friends, who would say, oh, please, can you talk to your friend, the director, for me? I want my son to go here. You know, those requests do come.
Like me, I'll call you and worry. You got my
Exactly. Such requests do come. But then, if we want to place everybody at GMPC or BOST or GRA or wherever you want to go, then it means that the underserved communities will be deprived. And they won't get the benefit of service persons. And so, as much as possible, we try to encourage people to go down to these places. You mentioned that sometimes party people and all that. The truth is that, yes, the pressure does come. The pressure does come. But we consider a case-by-case basis. Generally, you would realize that from last year coming, national service have had some issues as a result of some of these things that you're talking about. People trying to go around the system and get placed in a certain place. But the current leadership of the National Service Authority is trying to clean those things up so that you can end up at Tetteh Oil Refinery or BOST or GRA or wherever it is without having to know me personally, because we want to open up the opportunity for everybody. But if we want to serve only those related to politicians and important people in society, then people like myself who come from deprived communities would never have the opportunity to get a seat at the table. And so, yes, the rumors are there. But like I said, we consider some of these things when it's really in the human nature, issues that we need to really consider. We do them. Personally, people who have encountered me since I've been in office for the past few months will tell you that I always make it clear that if I was posted from Accra to Brong and Ahafo to do my service without knowing anybody, and I didn't try to beat the system, I think that everybody else should also be able to go, because that is the true meaning of national service. It's not national protocol service. It's national service. You are giving back to your country. So just go and do your 1 year. If you want to stay there, fine. If you don't want to, you move back to wherever it is, and then you are good to go.
My last question before Mario comes in: must national service be voluntary or compulsory?
I think that, and this is my personal opinion.
Yeah.
At the moment, it is compulsory. There is the school of thought that it shouldn't be compulsory. But if it's not compulsory, then where lies the service? Because the idea is that we all know that going through the school system all the way up to the university, usually the government also puts in certain interventions, even in private universities. Sometimes government grants them some subventions and all that to cushion you in order to ensure that the fees are not out of the roof. And so it's only natural that when you complete school, you would say that, oh, for what my country has done for me, and in order to instill patriotism in the students that we churn out, everybody should do national service, because national service gives you a feel of what it is to do something, not getting money for it, because the allowance that we give is just something small to take you back and forth. Because the idea is that everybody should be able to give back to their service. When you go to some of the developed countries where a lot of young people want to go to, they are very, you can see the patriotism. They love their country. They are willing to give off their all. And we think that in the same light, everybody should be proud to serve Ghana, to give something back to Ghana, even before you move on into the world to do other things. So I think personally that it should be mandatory for all Ghanaian students, as it currently is. But who knows, if one day we wake up and policymakers decide that it should not be mandatory, it should be voluntary, that's fine as well.
Thank you very much.
So I wanted to find out from you, National Accreditation Board, where we have institutions that are not accredited.
Right.
For me, like I didn't have the chance to do national service.
Right.
So those schools that are not accredited, can they write to the National Service Scheme that, oh, okay, we are now waiting for accreditation, but we would like our students to go through national service? Is that one also possible?
So I agree, and your issue is concerned. In fact, even for organizations that are accredited, like I mentioned, you can go to University of Ghana and do a program that doesn't qualify to do national service.
Okay.
Because if you have a basic diploma, like what we call DBS certificate,
Yes.
it doesn't entitle you to do national service.
Okay.
And so all of those students also have those concerns. Now the issue is that because we are a state institution, we are bound to work within certain confines of the law. So it means that we cannot on our own decide that we are allowing everybody to be able to sort of come through the system. Because there is a reason why schools are accredited. If not so, then nobody will be checking standards. Nobody will be checking what quality of students we are putting out there. And so that is why we have the criteria that, yes, we are open to accept more schools or institutions, but go through the system first. Get your accreditation. Once you have your accreditation, then it serves as a standard so that people don't now come back to national service and say, oh, why are you allowing this school to do national service and you are not allowing my school? When we standardize it, everybody knows that this is the basic threshold that you have to cross. And so if we take students from a certain school to do service, we are able to prove with the paperwork that this is the basis of which we are admitting students from this school to do national service. So that doesn't look like there's some favoritism, and please, you understand what I mean. Ensign College, for instance, is very new, but they are accredited to do national service.
Okay.
Because they meet the basic thresholds to be able to come aboard onto the system.
So, someone will say we are trying to do local governance and decentralization. Somebody will say, I live in Tamale, and I've been posted to Takrady to go and do national service. Vice versa, somebody is in the Volta region, he or she has been posted to, say, the Ashanti region. Can't we have a system where maybe the person demands that, okay, like you rightly said, I spend the rest of my life in Bomye. Maybe it's the only school that will take me to the next nearby town.
Right.
Can I write to the scheme that, oh, I want to have my national service here, right here in Tamale, not me, migrating from Tamale to, let's say, Takrady? Is that also possible?
So here's how it works. The posting is not done manually by a human being, because that would, of course, not be practicable. There's so many people, and so there's a system that has been put in place to do the distribution.
Okay.
And the
Just
system,
like the selective of schools for the senior high school.
exactly.
Okay.
Which even that one, people also try to go around the system. But the idea behind putting systems in place is that so every district is listed on the system, it's programmed into the system. We know every institution within that, district catchment area. And so the plan is really to do even distribution so that communities that are deprived are not, we don't cut them out so much, because the whole of this place is Lower Manya, right? Like you said, Bong is an urban place. But there are other places in Lower Manya that are not urban. Like you go to Natriku, you go to
Volivo.
Volivo is in Shayo Sudoku. But yes, if we're talking about Shayo Sudoku, then places like Volivo, because naturally everybody wants to be at, say, Dodowa or maybe Astrari. But nobody wants to go to Volivo, nobody wants to go to Toko, nobody wants to go to Kotoko, all those places.
Lubuse,
Exactly.
Obopa,
Exactly.
Agajajite, that area.
So if we allow everybody to say, oh, I want to be in Bong, then you would realize that there will be a natural trend where most of these places would be deprived. That is why we plead with people that, in fact, don't even bring us the pressure in the first place that you want to go here. Allow us to post you to where we think that once you complete school, prepare your mind that you are in Pom, but you could end up in Bolga, you could end up in Tumu, you could end up in Kumasi or anywhere. Once we all have that mindset, because I think that there's a fundamental challenge, because people think that national service is just a way of maybe starting life. The government will give you something small too. But the most important element of it is that you are giving back to your country.
And your community as well.
Exactly. We want you to give back to your country. And so, yes, like I said, as and when we think that, oh, this situation is extraordinary. This is a pregnant woman. She does her antenatal at maybe at Tua Government Hospital. Her records are there. So moving her maybe to maybe Accra or somewhere, Bolga, it doesn't help. It doesn't help her family to assist her. Why not? We would take care of it. But for able-bodied men and women like myself,
so the women will just start getting pregnant before their services. So that's
for me, I see sometimes because of the amenities, the infrastructures. That's why some national service personnel don't want to go into some communities. So it is time government look at. You see, when you go to Accra and some part of Ashanti region, there are some key developments there.
Master, even some part of Accra, if you go to Tumukra, it's better.
You see, so because of lack of amenities, let's say water, even where the national service personnel will even sleep, they have to go and look for accommodation and stuff like that. But if I live in Pom, and maybe I've been posted to, let's say, Asojamai district to go and do national service, let's say for VRA, I don't have any difficulty in doing that. But somebody from, say, Bolga, have been posted to, let's say, Mafikumipo, where they are deprived, there's no better drinking water, the amenities are not there. He or she feel, oh, where I'm even coming from is already deprived. Why won't you post me to a place where I can go and meet and hang out and learn new things? But you've posted me back to, so that's why people want to know. Authorities, okay, I know somebody here, let me try and lobby for you. Do you often get those things on board?
Yeah. I'll begin by saying that we need to have the fundamental understanding that development is gradual. We know that on the global stage, Ghana is a developing country. And so we know that there are issues. There are communities that, like you said, still don't even have good drinking water and all that. We agree. Now, our point is that sometimes, service persons from privileged backgrounds, having found themselves in some of these communities, after their service, actually go back, and when they become somebody, they go back to those communities to help. Because then if we never have contact with those communities, we don't even know their plight. Some of them are completely cut off. Somebody may live in Pong and think that Pong doesn't have enough development, or Somanya, or any of those places, right? But I tell you that there are places in Ghana here that when you go, you would ask yourself that, are these people also part of
Ghana?
You would really begin to appreciate that the Pong where you are, like, it's really like heaven. Because school children have to walk several kilometers on foot to even be able to get to school. Recently, I'm sure you heard of the issue that happened where the regional minister had to intervene. School children who have to cross a river.
Yes, they have to do some bridge for them too.
Before they are able to get to school. All these things are there. And that is why we say that as national service personnel, we are agents of change. We must inspire change. Journalists, national service cuts across all qualifications. Journalists, doctors, doctors are on a separate system, but nurses, teachers, engineers, whoever. Once you make contact with those communities, yes, we are always looking for what we can get from the community. But let's think of it in terms of what the community can also get from us. Because maybe by your going there to do national service, in 5-10 years, if you become MP, you would remember that, when I used to live in Tamale for my national service in this community, they didn't even have water. My chance upon some NGO somewhere and say that, oh, I know a community. I lived there for 1 year when I did my national service. And it happens all the time, you know. And then take some of these people back there, you know. And so we encourage. We know that it's not always easy because, like I mentioned, I have first-hand experienced that because I was looking for somewhere around Accra, somewhere nice, you know, like all these GNPC places. Because back then, I don't know how it works now, but back then, in fact, they were even paying the service persons higher than, you know, the regular national service allowance, you know. And so everybody naturally wants to go there. And so the very first day I arrived at the regional office in Sunyani to do my service, I was just asking myself that, what am I even looking for here? Because naturally everybody wants to progress and go forward. It's like where they brought you
I'm
here.
from Asuchari.
Exactly.
And I've been brought to Sunyani.
I've moved to Accra, and then I go back to Sunyani. Then I'm better off going back to where I am. Exactly. Exactly. But living there, in fact, after my service, I actually stayed on there for about 2 years until I got an opportunity here. Then I moved because I realized that, in fact, the standard of living was even cheaper than if you are living in Accra. Cost of rent is better. You don't drive for too long. You know, you move from your house in 5-10 minutes, you're at work. But if we don't make contact with these places, it becomes difficult to transform them. And so, service persons, yes, the concerns are legitimate, but we plead with everybody that we must understand that, first of all, you are doing service. That's why we call it national service. You are serving your country, you know. So it might not always be juicy or rosy, but sometimes you pass through a difficulty to end up where you eventually want to be. There are people I met at the National Service Office in Sunyani when I was posted there. You know, there were staff. You know, I was just a service person. I went to do my registration today, you know. A decade or so after today, people hear that, oh, this guy is now the regional director, and all that, you know. And sometimes they call, oh, can you help me with this? We're always ready to assist. And so it's important also to be able to build relevant contact. As for the deprived communities, the governments will try their best. But while the government is trying, we must understand that the whole of Ghana will not be fixed in a day. And so when we also have the opportunity to contribute to the development of those societies, I encourage that we go ahead and save. You take Eastern region, for instance, most times we have a challenge with people going to Afram Plains.
Okay.
Because Afram Plains South is even a bit better. But when you go to Afram Plains North, and I'm not talking about the capital, Donkoko, but they have more than 200 communities on islands.
With the KOPs.
Exactly. So you have to sit in the canoe. And the farthest island is about 9 hours.
Wow. And
we post people to go and do service there. You know, which means that there's light, but there's no telephone and all those things. You won't get your DSTV or multi TV as people are watching us now.
Unfortunately, my brothers did their
you know,
national service in Afram Place. Eche.
Okay.
Mami Krobo.
Exactly. And Mami Krobo and all those ones are even at the beginnings of, they are closer. Once you cross the river, in some 40 minutes you are at Mami Krobo. But those going to Donkokro, they have to go all the way. You know, exactly. You know. So we it's an appeal. We know it's difficult, and we know you are trying, which is why currently the authority is trying to renegotiate the national service allowances.
I was coming to that.
So we cushion our personnel.
I was coming to ask, how is the monthly allowance calculated? Are there opportunities for additional allowances or benefits?
Monthly allowances it goes through a process. Approved. First, you need board approval. Then we negotiate it with the government. Parliament has to, agree to it because we are fully funded by the state, and we hardly generate any income as it stands now. And I'll do a bit of explanation on that. And so whatever we do has to be approved by government. So we cannot on our own get up and say that I want to pay 2,000 cedis or want to pay so. We wish our personnel were taking more because the they've been on 715 cedis
For a very long
for a
time.
very long time. You know, and we are currently leadership. My boss, Director General Felix Zemfi and his deputies are currently negotiating for higher allowances for personnel, but it hasn't come to pass yet. But the good thing is that currently, just this week, the new board of the National Service Authority was outdoored. So once we have our board in place, it makes it easy to approve some of these things and then forward it to the government for negotiations. Now, you spoke about how it's calculated. As how it's calculated is just based on negotiations and what the government thinks that it can comfortably pay. Because we also want to commit to something that it might not be much, but at least the person knows that, oh, every month, once they validate their forms, the money will come. And so that is how the calculation is done. But we want to assure our service persons that in the coming months, they will hear some very good news.
Let's say 1,500.
Discussions are still ongoing.
I don't want to go there, but once we are here, let me say it. Some institutions pay more than what the government has been asked to pay the personnel. I think you know that.
Yes.
Why?
And that is why we encourage people that it's not all about going to GNPC or Tetteh refinery.
You keep mentioning GNPC. I know GNPC.
And
because they are the ones that give us headache.
Okay.
Everybody wants to go there.
I want to mention more. GNPC, BOSS, NPA,
VRA.
Tetteh Refinery, VRA,
yes.
Nestle Ghana, cocoa processing.
Yes. Half of the nurses who are posted to Eastern Region, everybody wants to go to VRA hospital. And so I keep mentioning them, forgive me, because those are the flashpoints. Now, what we forget is that all these are state institutions. And unless they have IGF, they are only taxed to pay the base. So what national service, you asked the reason why some people pay higher. If you find yourself in an institution where the national service has said that pay a base rate of 715. If the organization internally feel that their finance books are good enough, so they want to do a top-up, some pay as high as 1,500.
Okay.
You know, that is fine. We agree. Which is why now the National Service Authority, under the current leadership, is trying to implement a 50-50 policy where we want to ensure that we post at least 50% of our service persons to private institutions.
Okay.
Because the private institutions have bigger capacity to pay you more.
And some are even maintained.
And yes,
after their
and
services.
the possibility that you'll be maintained
It's
in
high.
a private institution is higher than if you went to somewhere, the government sector, that's already choked. And so that is the reason for the disparity. For us as national service, what we would not allow is for any institution to pay below 715. And so when people approach us, currently we are inviting companies, private groups, like Marego TV, for instance, to take up some service persons for us.
Okay.
However, when companies approach us, we make them understand that, okay, currently the service allowance is 715. So you have to pay the personnel at least 715. But because national service is giving you labor for cheaper than you would have gotten on the market, pay 20% of the 715 back to national service for using our personnel.
Okay.
Which is still cheaper than what you would have gotten if you were employing somebody. And for all you know, if the person gives a good account for themselves, after service, you can retain them or something. So we want to encourage our service persons that when you are posted to private firms, or if you already, maybe you did internship at Marego TV, and you're in school, you've completed, you want to come and do your service here, you can, once you speak to management of Marego TV, they can give you a simple letter that they would like this service person to work with them. You bring it to me in Koforidua, or if you are listening to us from outside the Eastern region, any of the regional offices, you submit the request. We would post you to the place, and then you go and have your service. Because we want to reduce the burden on the government institutions. If you go to a place like Cocoa Board, for instance,
Yes, I forgot to mention Cocoa Board.
they are currently running 3 shifts for
Okay.
national service persons because there are so many people. There are service persons.
And the other person, senior, is it senior something, was it under NPA?
Senior Hosi.
Senior Hosi was
Yes,
that sector.
Yes. You know, some of these places, you have service persons running 3-4 shifts because there's no space. But everybody wants to go there. You know, so some of them go to work, there's not much to do, they go and sit under trees. We don't want that for you. We want you to get, if you are at Marego TV, we want you to get the practical production experience. Let them teach you how to position the cameras and all that. We don't want you to go and be buying wache and all that. Because then that is not what teaches you the job and readies you for the job.
Exactly. You see, those ones are also part of, you know, the service
Building
of
the
training.
capacity.
We agree, but we don't want you to the
Let me quickly announce the phone line for viewers who also join us here. You can equally join us on 0539 689 986, 0539 689 986, or 020 167 2828, 020 167 2828, 0539 689 986. Mario.
Let me also remind you that we've opened free portal for advertisement. So wherever you are, those around Kasua, Malan Junction, Dansoma, La Paz, go to our office at Tetteh Street and get your portal. Is for free. Come and register and do. We are giving you 1 month's advertisement for free. Or if you are far, you want to do any inquiries, you can reach us on 020 167 2828, 020 167 2828.
Okay, Honorable, what kind of projects and activities can I expect during service?
So currently, the national service is on a massive transformation agenda. We are trying to redefine what it means to do national service. And for me, when my appointment was handed to me, I was given strict marching orders. That this is the vision of His Excellency the President, and we are going all out to ensure that it comes to pass. Key among these is our national service farming projects.
Okay.
In the past, it's not really new. We've done them before, but in most of the districts, our farming projects were abandoned for several years, and so we weren't going to the farms. We abandoned, and so we are currently on a drive to revive the NSS farming. We want to modernize farming.
Okay.
And so we've been channeling a lot of our efforts into that. Currently, our biggest farms there's an abandoned state farm previously that is called the Papal Farms around the Hacho Atomic area. It's a very vast cultivation. The current national service is currently doing brilliant work there. We are doing poultry, we are doing piggery, and we are planting as well, maize and all those ones. And the interesting thing about our farming model is that we plant what our livestock eat. Okay. And so where we are rearing poultry, we are planting maize to be able to use it, maize, millet, and all that, to be able to use it as feed, part of it as feed for the poultry, the livestock. And then whatever is left, we sell it back on the market to generate some internally generated item, IGF. And also we try to liaise with the Ghana buffer stock, for supplies to the various secondary schools and institutions. Now, the idea is first of all to feed into the president's idea, that his vision, that we must be able to be self-sufficient as a country. But beyond that, we also want to be able to use that as a means of generating some IGF, so that we would be able to do some of the nice things that other organizations are able to do for their staff and for the people they work with. We want to give our national service persons a treat. We want people to finish service and wish to come back. We don't want national service to be an experience. We don't want it to be an ordeal. We don't want people to endure it and then have to go through that and suffer. But we cannot do that if we are not raising some IGF. And so what we are trying to do currently is that we are going in very aggressively on the farms. So I'll take the opportunity, if you would permit me, to appeal to traditional authorities where you have vast land that you are not cultivating, you are not using. You can give it to the National Service Authority for a certain number of years. Whenever you are ready to come back for it, we can always negotiate. And let us put the land to good use. Once we are putting the land to good use, we employ, yes, some of our service persons go there to work, but we also employ some of the community people, you know, to manage the farm projects for us. And so that is one of the things we are doing. I mentioned poultry, we are doing piggery. Then we also have the National Service borehole drilling services.
Okay.
And so currently we have our machines up. We drill for, because we are not a profit-making organization, we drill for lower than what you would have gotten on the market.
Okay.
So if you are looking to drill a borehole or, yes, a groundwater, you can reach out to the National Service Authority. We'll be glad to assist you. Also, the last part I'll talk about is that we are trying to get as many service persons to get into private sector.
Okay.
And so for the businesses and the companies, we are appealing to you to accept service persons for us. Not for the sake of national service, but for the sake of contributing your own quota to help other young people to develop. Because if you give people an opportunity to serve with you, first of all, you are teaching them the business hands-on. You know, it's like you are providing mentorship for these young people. And wherever they go, whoever they become tomorrow, they would always remember that I was first given the opportunity to become a production assistant at Marego TV. That is where I started. And we hear those stories all the time.
Very often.
All the morning shows that we listen to, the hosts always talk about where they started from. Mostly radio stations that nobody has even heard of before, but they gave you the first opportunity. And so we encourage you to accept our service persons for us. They are very well behaved, they are very hardworking, you know. Accept them for us and see at the end of the service year whether they've been able to render a good account of themselves, and if possible, employ them so that we can help the country to better develop.
What of the NSS military training way?
Yes, thank you. So the NSS military training concept is an initiative that is coming up under the National Service Authority. And the background to that is that we believe at the National Service Authority that every young person should be able to have certain basic survival tips to carry them through life. Because if you go to most of the developed economies, it is through the voluntary military, the mandatory military training that people come to develop so much love for their countries. Ghana is rated as one of the most peaceful countries in the world. God forbid it, but nobody really knows tomorrow. The people of, you can be peaceful and then you wake up one day and another country is attacking you.
What do you do?
Like we've seen with the Ukraine and Russia situation. Ukraine may have said that, oh, we are very peaceful people, we don't want to fight. But once the fight is at your doorstep, you need basic survival instincts. And so that is the idea behind the voluntary military service. And we are not only teaching people to go and climb trees and hang on ropes and all that. But I know that as part of military training, regular military training, they teach them first aid tips. When you find yourself somewhere that there's no food, no water, how do you survive? Exactly. You know, those are the basic trainings that we are going to give. We are not going to, it's not going to be all about ahoya and all those things, having to shoot and all those things. It's just basic training, which we think that prepares you for the eventualities of life, because you can never tell. In life, you can never be too careful. So we want to equip our young people with these basic skills to carry them through life, so that it also instills a sense of patriotism in them. God forbid it, but if something happens in Ghana tomorrow, you know where to pass, you know where to go and hide in peace. So that's the idea behind it. The plan is to make it mandatory for all service persons, but this year we are going to be doing a pilot in the main intake. You know, we have 3 national service intakes per year. The first batch are the teachers. So if you've been following the conversation recently, teachers were posted for service. After them, the nurses were posted. Then we await the main postings, which usually comes out around September. And so in September, when the main postings are out, 10,000 service persons selected from all the regions across Ghana will be piloting the mandatory military training program. We are going to be equipping them with uniforms. We are going to give them proper gear. And when you see national service soldiers, you will know that these are national
there was somebody that was killing case.
But interestingly, the training is only going to be for 6 weeks. It doesn't take the whole year.
Oh, okay.
So it's just basic training. Depending on how it goes this year, then it will inform how we'll scale it up to the bigger level next year.
Yeah, once they're given uniform, nice.
Exactly.
I know some institutions you don't have to wear certain clothing to the place. MPA is one.
Yeah.
They have a way of the way they dress to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we encourage our user agencies to do a lot of that, because the service persons are there, but you are also training them. Even if you won't employ them, you have to train them, because a lot of young people, it's only a few people who go out of their way to actually discipline themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of young people are just coming out of school. They need a certain system to check them.
Yes.
You know, and so if you allow people must know that you can't come to work wearing slippers. You know, you can't come to work in certain clothing except maybe on some days. You know, that discipline must be there. And that is what we want our user agencies, both government agencies and private people, to take our service persons through. Which is why, so when I mentioned the issue about going to buy food, I'm not saying that it's bad. It builds character, because I mean, I've done that myself.
We've all been through it.
Exactly. But we are saying that beyond that, we want you to actually train them. When somebody steps out of your door and they ask, maybe they leave one day, they want to move on from Marego TV and go somewhere, they ask them that, you are very sharp. Where was your previous? And they can refer and say that, I was with this institution. And that gives you some glory as well.
Talking about discipleship and other things, some of the institutions also, their utterances to the service personnel are very bad.
We agree.
I have a scenario when the lady didn't know the service personnel speaks fluent Dangme.
Okay.
Then she was like, Ochelo, who had never been a macho.
That's a foul language.
A foul language. Yeah. But lawyer people, none of my people, lawyer, minally.
Yeah.
Ochelo, been a and the lady understood it.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything. The third time, when she said it, then she said, Auntie Asemasi, ole kon suno jimile, josuduku, lo inu dangbe. Asema yasai. Those lady became an enemy to the little. I think they have to change her department.
Exactly. I agree. And we get a lot of those complaints. Beyond that, so aside the verbal, abuse, we have reported issues of bosses harassing
female, yeah.
Workers.
I didn't want to go there.
And no, these are things that happen in every workplace.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes our service persons may also not be spared. At every point in time, when those issues are brought before us, we are very strict about those things. And if it's not well explained for us to be sure that the right thing is being done, sometimes we blacklist the institution, and then we forward the names of the officers in charge to the labor office, because the service persons, yes, that's why we call you user agencies, because they are not technically your staff. Please, you understand? Technically, if you are calling a staff meeting, you won't invite service persons, because technically they are not your staff. They are for national service. You are using them. That is why we call you user agencies. You are using the service persons. And so, typically, if a service person does something that flouts or goes against the rule, we expect that you report it to national service, because we brought the person to you. Until the person is done with their national service and you decide to employ them, they still answer to us, which is why every month they submit their monthly validation forms for us to pay them. Please, you follow. And so we encourage that, please, be nice to our service persons. Some of them are people who have never worked. Most of them, in fact, they just go through the system, senior high school, university. They've never worked before, so they don't know the things like you know them. The same opportunities that have been provided for you to learn and become perfect at the work that you do. We encourage that we take our time with the service persons, hold their hands. We encourage a lot of mentorship. If 3 service persons come here today, maybe my brother Mario can say, oh, as for this boy, attach him to me, I'll train him. Madam Lydia can also pick one person, and then by the time they are done, I know some institutions do that. Like, I don't know about other places, but I know the Lands Commission, when service persons are posted, they attach them to senior officers and say that, oh, okay, so Madam Lydia, this is your service person for the year.
Does the same thing.
This is your person for the year, because they want the person by the time they are done with the service, even if they don't employ you, they want you to know the ins and outs of the job. So your boss will send you, go and file this minute on this for me, do this, do that. By the time you are done, and you will still be sent on errands like anybody else. But you see that beyond the errands, they are actually teaching you the job. But if you have 10 service persons posted here to Marego TV, and you don't attach them specifically to officers, they will just be in the system. What they are learning will not be coordinated. Nobody will be monitoring their progress and all that. And in fact, when the time comes and you even want to employ them, it becomes difficult for you, because you don't know what this person has learned. You don't know what this person has learned. But if you attach them to your officers to mentor them, you can easily talk to, Madam Lydia and say that, okay, your service person, what's your assessment of her? Is she good? Does she organize well? When you send her, is she able to take instructions and all that? Because you've been working with her it's easier for you to know 1 or 2 people who are attached to you than to know all the 10. Because then you are not following their activities. In fact, so that is what we encourage.
I like the errand part, because then I was not buying food with my money.
It's all part. It's all part.
It's all part. Because then I will be able if you send me, there will be change. What are you also taking? Buy me 5 CDs of this. So you can also take the 3 CDs. So I was also not buying food with my money. Let me give you one bombshell here.
Yes.
In 2015 to 2016, a massive scandal rocked the National Service Secretariat, resulting in some district officers committing suicide and even the jailing of Abu Gapele. What are measures to put in place to deal with such scandals like that and the recent ones?
Right. So, rightfully, like you said, national service, we've gone through, if it was a human being, would say we've gone through a lot. And successive leaderships have tried in one way or the other to try and solve the issues. And the issues you've mentioned are rightfully so. Now, we realize that there are a lot of gaps in the system. Naturally, when people work in a place for a very long time,
Yeah, used to
they
the
begin
system.
to know the system, and you can be regional director or you can be the CEO or the director general, but they know the system better than you. And so you sit in your office, you have all the control and all that, but you might not know what is going on the ground. And that is what unfortunately has happened to us. You asked that what are we doing about it? Now, we've put in a number of measures under the leadership of my boss, the current Director General, Mr. Felix Jemfi, and his deputies, Madam Ruth Sedo and Honorable Fuseni Donko. Now, one of the things that we've done is that one of the avenues for the ghost names and all those things was through what at National Service we call the volunteer system. And so the volunteer system is a system where, because National Service, we don't really generate a lot of funds. We are hardly ever able to employ. But when people do their service with us, and we think that they have a good potential, we put them we offer them a certain opportunity where we call the volunteer system. So they work with us as volunteers. So they draw the same allowance as the service persons. So if we are paying the service persons 715 cedis currently, a volunteer also pays the same. And volunteers are attached to district offices, they are at regions, some are at national. You know, they are staff. They are not staff so-called. They work with us, but they are not
support.
Yes, they are like support staff. Exactly. Thank you for. And so what we realized was that because as regional director I sit in Koforidua, and my boss, the Director General, sits in Accra, and I don't know what is happening in Obopan or Asesewa or exactly any of those places, Afram Plains, you know. Occasionally you would visit, but you visit and go. Yes, exactly. You know my region quite well. Exactly. Yes.
Dumasi, we see.
Exactly. So we realized that a lot of people were being added to the system, you know, drawing these funds illegally. And there was no checks. Before, to get your allowance as a volunteer, your name is just submitted, no verification, you are just paid.
Okay.
Currently, the system is that every regional director knows the specific number of volunteers in every district. Okay. You have to know them by name and by face. Because if something comes, if an issue happens in the district, my boss calls me to answer. They don't call my district manager. And so I have a list of all the volunteers in the system. Every month, we usually do our validation by 15th, our payment validation. So every month, there's a form they print, they fill it out, and then they submit the forms to. So the volunteers used to be under the control of the district offices. Now, at the district office, we just bring you the person. You don't pay him.
Okay.
You don't process their payment. They bring all their payments to me in Koforidua. Then I'll take it district by district. Okay, Yilo Kobo, I know we have 2 volunteers. Maybe Lydia Tetteh. Then, you know, so you check. You check it against their Ghana card. Okay, I know this person. You know, then you verify, you sign. So now the regional director signs on the volunteer list, having checked, cross-checked with the system, you know, and then they do a biometric verification. That was not there prior to last year when the issues happened. And so these are checks that have been put in place. Also, there's now a whole department that has been set up at National Service that coordinates all issues relating to volunteers across all districts and regions in the country. And so we've been able to sanitize the volunteer system. Now, there's also the issue of people who were not even doing service at all. You know, being on the service payroll, drawing allowances, and conniving in some cases with some of our staff to split, you know, the allowance when it comes. And so you realize that when this government took office, I think for the first 2 or 3 months, national service allowances were not. In fact, in January, we cleared the backlog from last year. But between January and March, there was a bit of delay in paying the allowances, because now we were asking every service person to come and do a biometric verification. We had to do a payroll audit. We've managed to sanitize the system. We've cleaned up the system to start afresh, and we've put in more strict measures at the district and regional levels, which is why now, even as regional director, I don't have the power to do reposting. If you want your son to teach in let's say Somanya Presby A, they put them at Pong. You want them to go to Dumasi or Somanya or Akuse, Astrare, or any other places. The power does not lie in the hands of the regional director. It can only be done for you at head office. If you have a genuine case and you talk to them and they want to do it. All those things are checks to ensure that some of these things do not repeat. One of the issues we are currently battling, and I think a week ago, yes, last week, one of my districts, we had an issue where, if you are already working and maybe you top up your education, we allow you to do service, but you are not entitled to the 700 cedis.
I was coming to that.
For our younger brothers and sisters who don't have anything to do, we give them that one to manage.
All right.
But you have already been in Ghana Education Service. You've taught for 20 years. You went to do a top-up. You need the National Service Certificate. So we said, okay, come and do your service. But you are already on government payroll.
Government payroll. So,
so
we can't give you double salary.
Exactly.
Yes, because I have a question. Viewers can join us on 053-9689-986 or 020-167-2828. I have a question here. Can someone who has undergone NSS already reapply?
Okay. So we used to have what we called the voluntary national service.
Okay.
Yes. But these days we've stopped it.
Okay. So you can't
because
reapply.
People were abusing the system. In fact, before you could reapply, and when you are taking, we even pay you the allowances again for another year. Please, you get the explanation, right? So you are done with your service, you will reapply that you want to do voluntary service. We can take you again, and then for another service year, you will be doing national service again, and you are still paid the monthly allowances. But people were beginning to, abuse those processes. So now, your service is for 1 year. When you are done, you are done. What we can do for you is that if you were attached with us and we think that your work output was great, and we cannot employ you, and we have maybe some funds available, we can put you on the volunteer program. Then we attach you to one of our offices, maybe at a district, regional level, or even at national. Because currently there are staff at national who work to coordinate the farming projects and all that. They distribute the seeds, fertilizer and all those things. Most of them are volunteers, and they work at head office. So we can put you on a program like that. But voluntary national service, it's over.
And what of those whose schools were not accredited by then and did not have their national service? Can they apply?
Unfortunately, you cannot apply, because national service does not deal with individuals. We deal with the institutions. And so if your school does not give you the credit, because what happens is that every year, when you are about to complete, the list of all the final years is forwarded by the school to national service. That these are students who are passing out or graduating this year. Then based on that list, we generate PIN codes for each of them. Then we use the PIN code to generate NSS numbers. So every school has a unique code that we give. And so if your program does not qualify you to do service, or the institution itself is not even accredited to do service, then it means that we don't even receive a class list at all to say that we are putting you on.
Thank you.
So you don't qualify, unfortunately. So we know that private education is important. Private education is important, but then we encourage most of our schools to also try and get themselves registered by the relevant agencies, so that you don't disadvantage your students, so that when they finish they can also come on and then do national service and get their service certificates for those who want to be MPs and all those things.
I was coming to ask you, do you have an ambition to become an MP?
No.
Not at all. This is a congratulatory message from a special mom. So you, Lydia, good morning. Wish him congratulations for me. This is from Evangelist Mrs. Gloria Awovi Rigo. Ibi, congratulations to my son. He's my son. He says congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mommy. Thank you so much.
And good morning to Honorable Jonathan Kenny Kwabla, the Assembly Member for Asachare Electoral Area. He says, hey, Mama Lee, that's my boy. I'm so happy for him. Please extend my regards and congratulations message to him. This is from your uncle.
Yes.
And on behalf of the Asachare people, we all say congratulations to you.
Thank you so very much.
Before okay.
It is our hope that we'll be able to go back home and then contribute our quota to development. Currently, in our own small way, we've tried. I think recently there was the launch of the Osudoku TV and all that. Yeah. You know, by then I wasn't even in office, but we showed up to contribute our quota. So we'll try, and we encourage the general public to also keep praying for us, so that we can also go and find opportunities and bring some. And
get a special office for Namibia. And to your godfather, before your parting with. I know you have a godfather.
The people who have helped us on this journey are a lot. And so sometimes when you single one person out and you don't mention other names, it creates problems. But those who have held my hands and supported, they know that I'm always grateful. And I try to keep touch. I try to keep up. I want to take the opportunity to thank everybody. Those who have helped me politically, family, from school and all that. I want to express my appreciation to everybody, and hope that whatever you lost in helping me to get to the stage where I am today will be replenished. And it is my greatest hope that most of all, you will be satisfied that by the time I leave office, or I move on to do something else, and leave my current role as the regional director for national service and go and do something. Maybe I come and get employed with Marego TV or any of the things. You would be proud of the impact that we would have made. Because for me, I think that the most important aspect of your footprint that you leave everywhere is for people to mention your name 2, 3, 5 years after you've left, that, oh, this thing, if Mario was here, it would have been done. And that is the greatest reward for me. So we pray for God's guidance and blessings.
Okay, before then,
I think we have just 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I want to dance.
Marego TV, you know.
Mochumka.
Blanyane manyadalo John Dramani Mahama Kahamono Kejivene Onake ne Odeno no loke wok dangwele kejemi.
Okay. Kabeni de no wa je program osisi on. Amango chum keha wache His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama ka blonyane hamino. Chapin no feno ne na ledger. In fact, nene eje office loko iba. Ko ohie no ejehane yike ejeha omanaka, there's a vast difference. Let's look at opportunities to new week a year. Ne one watch on no wa my mape. Lo no wa ba ka be ni deo. Sa ne won wa malwawo no wa tunio. Ko wa tunio na ehio. Wa se ni na no asio. Me hu o se ke blonya ko ba amadeke o. Ne wa pe wa nyimi nat Tetteh regional director in National Service. a move national service from level no ke ba level no lolo hijio one another talent no wangala no am ha no dem opportunity o once na wanye no wa page wa mabriblo ha nene me na manga wase mango blo no magu blo no ne ma ha wa nene me ka wana na me chumka no keje macheme ne aka agbinwo lokoji nene wa ngetun no mo no enye ne ba no wabinye ne wama wonye hio se wama pama pe ne ejonye ne ya ne nyinsi ne eseke ko ne chumi ne nyeke wo wadio wachu ne sanye hem ne nye hawaye ko
You mochum seloko manjio. I forgot to tell you ka hane here camera no matter blefogbe no matter dangbe na Eastern Regional team mo na leka you are adding Marego TV to your media team. No feno kono mapio Marego TV maba piehe ipope. Look into the camera. You speak English and then you speak Dangbe for me.
Okay, Madam Lydia, educa request no. But most importantly, assurance on it, because as far as Eastern Region is concerned, Koba National Service or Final Authority or Jimmy, law once ni hamu assurance no can program fen ko no ama pay o wama invite Marego TV wama pay one of our media partners nyeba support wale kan nyenge the required human resource ke what it takes po kan nyemanya was sometimes so wanichumi we have very difficult areas chapida no wangema because what service persons they are scattered like ko amaya farm plains amachenye jano ne ko anga ko forodio amachenye ko amapom amachenye ko amasomanya amachenye okay ma to blefogu law in just a few seconds I'm just going to say that we are grateful to Marego TV for having me on the show today and would like to commit to the fact that going forward Marego TV is going to be one of our media partners as far as the authority is concerned within the Eastern region. Would invite them whenever our programs are coming up and would hope that whenever we call on them, they would be able to give us the necessary support to come in and assist us. While doing that, we would also appeal to them to take up some service persons for us today, this year, and train them, even if it's a few people. Because
we'll talk to
the training is very important so that tomorrow those service persons can be here for 1 year and then move on, either stay or even if they decide to move on, they'll say that, oh, it all started at Marego TV. Then it brings back the credit. We want to
thank you very much. Our time is asema pama rupe no de no. Ipo pe no to dangwe ne owo dangwe liga jemika ka iba service personnel na angoka fon eko. Onye ne oya ejangale jono maya umanya manani kasemi kejele jono sana wa ya wanani na wa ya wa hanya ka dangwe ngesekpe. Ipo pe no de benga dangwe mi.
Ipo pe. Ma address we should say ko ma 10 seconds ma acknowledge no ko very important.
Ipo pe yo.
Neji Mama Gloria Rigo. Neji, the founder and CEO of Marego TV.
They send message on it.
Yes. Ngelama Mahalechum. She's been one of the development pillars. Nge wa upanono and even outside. Ne for people a bit common kan omana ni ne they are self-made. Ne no madeke ije community no. Los anamaya back na maya pinoko ihe ika chapi Marego TV na a feed or amami lo she could have just decided kan man singa ko ni hine job but le hu e babli nichum no ni mana nichum na machum no imi mana opportunity no maba in the market ni all over the world maseni maune ejole saminya ipopeja no wa maba o concern no
dangwele hefe kwene mama ka national saka mama fun o megaje ma lo slow me ke aya eja ka oli chake mi ne ba ngali jon e ko ba ka eja asotware lo sane awo mi ke fun afenya bene pene mama we mbe fe ko
ikope lo ka bene Madam Lydia deo national service eji eblio blonyai fubam kehani opportunities ngem kabini de no a jesije ne wa ngabafo bi onto yo oli ne no ke ma akpi ngehe na post mo no ko bi ayo because sometimes so I'm a post mo ke ya hekone is a deprived community ike he pay example can it be service nya I was expecting kama he ganlo heko na mana opportunity a post me ke abron afo interestingly I colleague koni a meet me jonje le ebwajo so much kakele balejo because he came from a very rich home ne ehinsinga jama environment olu in fact national service po local baleka na opportunity kama he trot from me kama de go can ni hinsinga lorry together like nanga TV no nanga mam but lenche na wo jama experience okobli neki demo jama friend or ne imeko mweno heni basu no yem ke boam ne jama hwe eke hamye kape yele jonjo ike jama no ko lo ingela na maslo no feno sometimes wale kan ehi wakpa ko ma lachun loko ma settle po e mama take mo ga 2 to 3 months first month of pole dan ko ya ni chun mo mi fun because abi yo no ngela no ma ba ngela no ma ya ovi are hospital lo ngela no ma ya jinare lo heku chapie no ngela ji lo see nye sometimes so adio saying koke nye mosomi na diamond lo oli heno mana o diamond nge lo am encourage no fe no ke wa ke no fe no mafonga lo so manya lo pom wanyimiome na ngaji na masi keniome abi service persons na ne amachomeni lo ama run offices lo ama pape ke hene fe ko ne ama post mo opeteja 1 year pay keke in fact 10 months because last month I had terminal leave keke ko be service onya ne ka post mo no ya hu no at the end of service period wa calculate or transportation cost nyafin ko usually opina ka ko ngani chunga ego na transfer mo mo package ko no ka relocate but at the end of the service period the ko gbo service onya go pe oje so manya na post mo ka ya go pe otamale by the time we wa calculate or distance keke wake calculate ke pie o terminal leave sky ke wake amo ke nikumenyena ake ba start onoko nyafin be no man here ke pay big business lo amapanye pe ke ife ko na ke mo fon amapa pe ne oya because the basic is that wange wa ma save lo logo wa tele ke national service on it
yo mochua last text message never eke congratulations to my brother and my son. I know him very well and I know he can really do the job. This is from Delali Semaha, Smart Media GH.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yo, on that note, okay.
It is where time will permit us to bring the program to an end. But tomorrow, our guest is Kwesi, Emmanuel Kwesi Lawe, DC for Apam Manya. Should I say district? Yes, is the DC. So tomorrow, you will be our guest on the Marego Morning Dew.
Thank you very much for being with us. And that was Nat Tetteh, the National Service Acting Director of the Eastern Region. As you visited us, once again, we say a very big thank you. And Osudoku is really proud of you. Adegbon, Waki Wahiono. I am Lydia Ameyaw. See you tomorrow.
Marego TV, the new experience